no extension for foreign troops withdrawal deadline in Afghanistan. Welcome back, everybody. This is again show, and my name is Malik Tenzonzo. I'm going to be joining by my friend Gustavo Mbela to dissect what's going on, the new development in Afghanistan. As you heard on the news, the Taliban said no extension for withdrawal. And then they didn't stop there. They may just say, they just say, if there is extension, there will be consequences. Now, I was wondering, what kind of consequences they're talking about? Now, Mr. Mbalo, welcome back to the show. I hope you hear me well.
I hear you clearly.
Absolutely, my brother. So you have a lot on your plate tonight to dissect, and I know you're on the top of your game. We're going to be talking about the Taliban, the withdrawal in Afghanistan. Eventually, that's the hot topic. But also, your girl Shakiri didn't perform the way she's supposed to. We're going to be talking about that as well, and you probably have some news about Equatorial Guinea that you're going to be giving me in a minute, in during our discussion. But also, on the top of the line here, I want to talk about the FDA approval of the vaccine, PFIZER. So again, welcome back, my friend. How you been doing?
Great. It's always a pleasure, and I take great pride in being named senior analyst for your program. I take it seriously. I take it seriously, and I'll always give my best informed decision. There is no fake news here, and there is no spin.
There's no spin, and that's what a senior advisor, correspondent do. Your analysis being valued, and that's why you always back him, sir. This is no joke. People depend on this analysis to understand what's going on around the world. So what I'm going to be doing to start this conversation is to play a clip and then let you trying to make sense of what's going on in Afghanistan. So
in Doha and issued this.
So right there, you see that our conversation is going to be starting. I want you to carefully listen to this conversation. Then after that, we can debate.
Withdrawal from Afghanistan in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, the Taliban agreed to meet Sky News in Doha and issued this stark warning.
If the US or the UK wanted to extend the 31st of August deadline in order to continue evacuations out of the country, would you agree to that?
No.
Why not?
This is something you can say it's a red line. President Biden announced this agreement that until 31st of August they would withdraw all their military forces. So if they extend it, that means they are extending occupation. While there is no need for that, I think it will deteriorate the relation, will create mistrust between us. If they are intent on continuing the occupation, so it will provoke a reaction.
Let's talk about the situation at the airport. People are very afraid of what life may look like under your rule. People are prepared to leave everything behind. They're prepared to risk their lives to leave the country. What would be your message to them?
First, I assure you, it is not about their worry and not about their scare. This is about they want their demand to resettle in Western countries. And that is a kind of economic migration, because Afghanistan is a poor country and 70% of the people of Afghanistan are living under the line of poverty. So everyone wants to resettle in Western countries to have a prosperous life. So that is, it is not.
So, sir, I know that's a lot already. I think I'm going to give you a break because there's a lot of information going on. Number one question, would the Taliban allow Biden an extension? The man said no, straight up, no. And then as far as the the people fleeing the country. It is telling the people this is no because of the fear of the Taliban regime. They're just economically they're poor and they want to go to seek better opportunity in the United States or elsewhere. Your thought? Can you weigh in?
Well, first of all, I take this Taliban spokesperson, and it's kind of a oxymoronic, but you have to speak with all kind of characters. I take him at his word when he says it's a red line. We've heard that term red line used in all sorts of scenarios. We heard it used when Benjamin Netanyahu was at the UN. He talked about the red line. We've heard other heads of state. So to put him on par with some of the other heads of state with regard to their comments isn't what I'm trying to do. But what I am saying is that this guy, when he says it's a red line, it's probably a red line marked in real blood. And so as it relates to the Kabul airport, I think that is going to be a scene of chaos, and people have every right to be afraid. What I've learned in my 30 years of dealing with despots, African, European, Asian, is they always seem to put their most slick person to be their spokesperson. And these people,
you think is that you think it's bluffing? You think it's lying?
Not at all. I think this guy is deadly serious. And all you have to look at how they're mistreating the young ladies. And more importantly, why would a group of people, and you imagine that all these people in the airport, they all don't know each other. You could call it the chaos effect where everyone's running and out of fear, but there is something very tangible and real out there that is causing people to leave everything they have behind, even giving their babies up in terms of what you saw the U.S. military. So this is a very serious situation. I hope that President Biden and I pray that President Biden and Lloyd Austin, who I hope will not be the fall guy in this, that they come to realize that this can be salvageable, but I think it's going to deteriorate before it gets better. And the Taliban now have taken over. They're looking upon themselves as being the ones running the country. And I'm sure that this wasn't something that they just had overnight, Malik. I'm sure these guys have waded through all these different presidencies and they've had a playbook ready, and now they're going to put it into effect. So Joe Biden, he got his wish. He got the Taliban to be the people who he's going to have to deal with. And these guys are not joking. I don't doubt them for 1 second that they would wreak havoc on their citizens and anyone who they felt were not honoring the August 31st deadline. Emphasis, deadline.
Listen, when you have a chance to hear some of the comments made by their own citizens, they said the Taliban have a track record of people that say one thing and then do the opposite. So, and we know these people, they will rule using the Sharia, especially the wrong way interpretation of the Sharia. They of course they have their own twist to it. No right for women, women as second citizen, women, and so we're not gonna believe this. And also when they said people are fleeing because of the economic situation, but these are the very people that were in the country. They didn't flee the country. Over the last 20 years, they didn't flee that country. They were there.
Malik, the Taliban spokespersons, they have CNN, they have the BBC, they have MSNBC, they have Sky News. These guys are just as savvy. It's amazing though when you talk about the deception and breaking news, politicians speaking both sides of their mouth. The Taliban, I don't think are politicians, but they have that same kind of ecosystem, that chemistry. Well, they'll say one thing and do another. But unlike civilized politicians and civilized civil governments, these guys wreak havoc and they instill fear in their population. They're in the Stone Age. They are not in the 21st century. And Sharia law has been perverted by them to justify their criminality, whether it's the selling of the poppies or whatever minerals. They are there now to terrorize their citizenry and realize they've been chomping at the bit for 20 years. Can you imagine what it's like knowing that you have all this buildup for 20 years, not unlike 53 years of buildup in the Republic of Equatorial Guinea?
Well, So we probably will get to that. It's a lot of despot in the world. But talking about the Taliban, I think I'm going to play this again. Trying to listen to this guy because just like you said, we have to take them seriously, and be because one thing that the Taliban always do is to play the entire world. They always think that they're smarter than everybody. So it's always good to listen to them carefully. Carefully, and not believing everything they say.
And why would they lie? Why these guys, they want people to be afraid of them. And so if they tell if they're going to kill people, they're going to kill people because they did, and then they would lose credibility. And it seems kind of weird that we're looking for credibility in Taliban, but these are killers, and I don't want anyone to think that they're anything other than killers.
Absolutely. Listen.
Not about scared. Of course, for their justification to go there, they exaggerate, scare, and terrified, and so. So we know the Afghans. This is our society. This is not the fact they are scared.
We're hearing reports of members of the Taliban going door to door looking for people like journalists, like members of the judiciary, former government workers. We're hearing that girls' schools have been closed in some provinces. What are you doing about that?
All fake reports. If anyone is, as you say, and we investigate every incident, who is going door to door, he himself will be prosecuted and tried and punished, because that is a violation of our policy. But I can assure you, there are many reports by our opponents claiming what is not based on realities.
And as we now approach the date for American, British, foreign forces, soldiers to leave Afghanistan, what would you say to the families of those who died trying to help Afghanistan?
I first of all say they occupied our country. If we occupy your country, what you will say to me? If I killed your people in your country, what you will say? I think our people suffered a lot, bloodshed, destruction, everything. But we say the past is the past story, a part of our past history. Now we want to focus on future.
Yeah, if I may, the folks like the Taliban, these guys have grudges that are centuries old. So for him to say the past is the past nonchalantly, it's like the fox who's looking outside the chicken coop, pacing around, waiting for the days that one of the chickens going to say, "Hey, listen, I want to play with the fox." Anyone listening to this man, listening to Malik and myself, who have family out there, please, this is a very serious issue. I hope that the refugee status and immigration status and visa status will be expedited. And I'm calling upon the Biden administration to deploy any and all resources to make sure that the health, safety, and welfare of these newly minted refugees, not to mention the interpreters who helped during this 20 years and other people, that they're protected by the United States of America, with whom so many people around the world rely upon their words.
Well, listen, what I believe is two things. These people are doing the best to get some kind of, they want to be a legitimate. So they will say any kind of words to attract or to give some sense of a change, because when it comes to the Taliban, they operate on a revenge kind of philosophy.
Yes.
And for this man to say the past is a past and we're going to be focused on the future, I have a hard time believing that. Because if that was the case, then why is that this man said there's no extension?
Yeah.
And to the point, can you imagine? If there's extension, there will be they will face. I mean, the forces on the ground will face consequences. Can you imagine? This is that is a threat to me. You would threaten the American people, and you're threatening our allies, including all the the NATO forces on the ground. So if you come with a new perspective, saying that you're actually gonna give a chance, change. There's no, you're not gonna be pressing. You're not gonna be punishing the people that that you think are against you, and then you say we do not give you some extension. That is kind of a threat to me, and I don't know what they really mean by that.
Well, this is what I think they mean. I think first of all, they want to establish that that there's no wiggle room for negotiation. But let's be very clear: the United States and its allies, if they wanted to do complete damage to the Taliban, they have the military resources and willpower to bomb them back to the Stone Ages.
Oh, yeah.
However, but they also have civilian population. You have an administration that obviously is aversive. And so these guys know the psychology of Joe Biden. They know the fact that he's a foreign policy wonk. And they're playing all these different angles. So you're not dealing with guys who have just been living in caves. These are guys who are sophisticated. Some of them are even educated in Western universities. So they understand the nuances of the media. But this guy is equally as dangerous as the guy who you'll see beheading someone. And he's even more dangerous because he seems to be very polished. I'm not afraid of these kind of guys, to be honest, but I know I'm fearful of what they can do if given power. The deadline is the deadline as far as they're concerned. Their deadlines can always be altered because of changing circumstances on the ground. And I think after 20 years of occupation, circumstances have changed, but they're not going to change. The Taliban's not going to change in order to inure a benefit to the U.S. They're going to try to put as much pressure and say, oh, Biden said one thing, he changed. Remember, these guys are spinmeisters, but more importantly, they're killers. And I don't want anyone to leave this conversation not realizing that you have a lot of innocent people who are going to lose their lives, regardless of what this guy says. Because what he says publicly, Malik, in some remote part of Afghanistan, Kabul or Mazar-e-Sharif, some guy who's at some post, he's not going to know, right? Some little checkpoint. Kabul seems to be the fulcrum of activity. I would encourage the U.S. and its intelligence assets, who I know are flooding that area, to keep an eye on Kabul, the airport, and all of the activities coming in and out of it. I know they're doing that with great alacrity, and I wanted to let them know that you have my support in any capacity to help in that endeavor, professionally and personally.
So what do you plan to do professionally and personally?
If there's anything I can do to help with regard to help Afghani refugees in order to get debriefing with regard to debriefing people who have just come out of that part of the world and pass that information on to the appropriate people, I have a skill set that can be utilized in a way that will benefit the United States of America and its interests. And so I welcome anyone from the administration. If you're looking for someone to debrief and give a recipient information, real-time, actionable intelligence, as far as you can, 3 or 4 weeks removed. There are a lot of people out there who are warehouses of information. And I encourage, and there are only so many people who have that skill set. You can't be everywhere all the time. I'm here in the United States of America. If someone wants to reach out to me, you know how to. And I'd be more than happy to interview any Afghan national or anyone affiliated with that or family members in this area of the U.S. that I live in, and will do so knowing that I'm here to protect, preserve, and promote vital national interests in that region and other regions of the world.
Absolutely. I mean, that's well taken. Anybody that is watching, when it comes to Mr. Mvela, help is always on the way.
On the way.
So let me ask you this, man. As you already know, last time you were on the show, we spoke about this. People comparing, Kabul to Saigon in 1957, and I just want to hear what you have to say about this. Is it really because even when you see the pictures, it looks the desperation it looks the same to me. It looks the same. Do you think history will repeat?
Hello? Well, I think the history, if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Malik? Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, man. I'm listening.
Yeah. So I think that picture is an awesome picture. It shows you how over the course of 45 years, human desperation has been going on since the beginning of time. But you have pictures with the same type of helicopters. I think those are called Chinooks. But it's amazing that people want to flee violence, tyranny, mayhem, and will go to any length, including throwing their kids into helicopters, giving them to strangers, and doing so at great risk. I think it's human nature to want to protect your family. I know that my father did that for us, and I would do that for my daughters. I think it's important, and loved ones. I think it's important for Americans out there to realize that even though Afghanistan seems like a world far, far away, the human condition of empathy, sympathy, sensitivity, and suffering are universal attributes. And I hope that people here can open up their hearts and minds, realizing that you have people who just want to live their life freely, fairly, and without obstruction.
Absolutely. Now, you know what? This decision to withdraw caused a lot of criticism. And whenever you turn your TV or radio on, conservative media outlets, the pundits, the Fox News of America, all of them talking about Biden being weak, Biden being that was the actually a bad decision. And on top of that, we also have President Trump, our former commander in chief, that is talking about. He literally said that it is time for Joe Biden to resign in disgrace for what it has allowed to happen to Afghanistan. That's the president of the former president, Mr. Trump. And now the reason why I'm bringing this up, because I want to show you the hypocrisy of Trump, President Trump, because this is the very man that actually starting to cut a deal with the Taliban and during the last days in office. Remember that, right? Trump administration has ordered the military to start withdraw roughly 7,000 troops from Afghanistan in the coming month. That was actually literally toward the end of his administration. Now, when you see him coming up and talking as if this is something that Biden just created, I think they should thank Mr. Biden to have the courage to say, you know what, enough is enough, and I'm not going to pass on the next president, this thing that everybody's back off. So, when everything goes wrong, like, President Kennedy used to say, as one person that should be accountable. But when it comes to victory, that's why everybody's coming and claiming. Yeah. What do you think? Do you think Mr. Trump is right to really come hard on President Biden, knowing that he's the one starting the process of withdrawing our military from Afghanistan?
Well, I'm going to speak candidly and frankly. I don't care what Donald Trump says. I didn't care what he said when he was in office. I think what's coming to realize is that here's a gentleman who will say anything to bring attention to his carnival down in Florida and some parts of the world. I am tired of Donald Trump and what he's unleashed in other aspects of life with regard to race relations, with regard to the COVID disaster in terms of dissemination. So as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump should go to Mar-a-Lago, order as many burgers, fries, and milkshakes he can from McDonald's and just watch reruns of Good Times. Because I've gotten to the point to where We're talking about human suffering. And these guys are peddling around as if it's games, whether it's the Fox News analysts and who are just there trying to stir up human emotions. This is dangerous stuff, man. People
Yeah,
are dying.
it's dangerous.
And all these people who are analysts who never, a few of those guys have gone in the military, but for the most part, these guys, it's just war profiteering, media profiteering, and it's about ratings. I'm only concerned, only reason I'm concerned is how many people survived COVID, how many people are going to survive the Taliban, and how many people have to survive under dictatorships throughout the world before people wake up. So the Donald Trumps of the world, as far as I'm concerned, he was a president. It was a time in history where there was an inflection point. All I can say is that I think it's time for him to go home and take a nap and have some cookies and milk.
Well said, my friend. I think I think you should go sit down and drink a beer or something, because he's trying to be irrelevant. But this guy was in office and didn't do it. He was too scared to make that kind of decision. You know, it takes somebody with I don't know. I don't think when it comes to commander in chief, I don't know if there's anything associated. You know, whether commander or chief associated with President Trump. So
yeah, and I try to avoid using his name. I think he doesn't even listen to his advisors. I think there are people that are competent there, but it got to a point to where it's just whatever happened, whatever he woke up in the morning feeling like doing, he was doing it. This governance is a very serious thing. It's something I take very seriously. Leadership is a very serious thing, and the ability to listen to people and learn and to be humble. That's not a bad thing to make when you made a mistake, Malik. To say I made a mistake, we'll do our best to fix it. But for people to somehow try to think that this is a game of checkers versus chess, I don't have any patience.
Gustavo,
yes,
Gustavo, can a good decision bring bad outcome? Because I believe from the start, and the most American from the start, we all believe it was about time. It was about time to withdraw our troops, because we, you know, as a matter of fact, you know, when it comes to how much treasure, blood, sacrifice of our men and women and service members on the ground, including even our allies, you know, we have lost a lot. You know, and it was about after 20 years and after spending trillion in trying to make Afghanistan, as you know, especially those people to defend this country themselves stronger. After 20 years, if you didn't take a chance or allow your politician to be corrupt, or the politician to take the money in their pockets and the entire system corrupt, what do you expect?
Yeah.
Tell me, what do you expect? Another 20 years?
Yeah, and
I think that was.
And let's be honest, though, Donald Trump, and I said, even I'm just gonna call him 45. He had this thing of always trying to manipulate and push people and kind of keep it like it's a game. It's like an episode of The Apprentice. But this has very real consequences. You don't get voted off islands or voted out of a job. You get voted off of life. And that's a serious thing. And so I think as a future leader, I will be someone that will listen to my people who are experts. I am no expert in all these arenas. You find people who are smarter than you, who you have enough fortitude to say, I need help. I think that Joe Biden has surrounded himself around of a bunch of competent folks, some who've been around in government, I think, far too long. And I'll be very frank, I'm very disappointed in how they handle the situation in Afghanistan, because in the words of Bill Maher, the adults are back in charge, but they F this up. And so it's time to clean up this mess. And I hope that Joe Biden, his national security apparatus, Jake Sullivan, Avril, all the folks at the intelligence community, Lloyd Austin. And I want to repeat once again, I have unwavering support for Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. And if he is a fall guy for this, a lot of other people should go down with him. This is not the time to start voting people off because of decisions. No man is an island, whether it's the island of Manhattan or the island of Malabo. None of these guys make these decisions in a vacuum. Stop firing people, and let's go ahead and try to see if we can use their skill set. Because once they're gone, that expertise goes out the door. And we don't need that time. And we don't need the types of people that a previous administration, where you have guys who were employed at sandwich shops walking around with national security clearances and national security advice in the White House. This is serious stuff. Governance is serious, real life, and has consequences downstream and upstream, and one in which I'm passionate for, and in some cases, in the most extremes, would be willing to die for.
I hear you, bro. You know, I think this is the time where we all have to be behind the president.
Yes.
And this is across the aisle, you know, when you're Republican and Democrats, because I believe everyone in this America, we all believe and think, you know, quietly, you know, about that decision of, you know, withdrawing our troops. Now, the reason why a lot of leaders before Biden shy out from that decision, because they knew that it won't be an easy one.
Yeah.
Now, you know what? We don't measure the leadership of a man when it's easy. You know, Trump did it easy.
Politically advantageous. Politically advantageous.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, President Trump did the easy way. You know, he went to meet with our enemies in North Korea. Mm-hmm. You know, he sat down with Putin. You know, give him a free ride. You know. Yeah. And then
he got played. He got played on the world stage.
He got played all the kind of stuff.
He gave nothing. We got nothing in return.
You know, nothing in return. When it comes to a foreign in that particular side of the world, remember where you moved the capital. You know, the Israel capital. Didn't ask anything in return. Yeah. Did not ask anything in return. That was a disaster. So what I'm saying right now is that it is time for us to sit back a little bit and let the commander-in-chief, the real commander-in-chief, do the work. And I believe I have deep faith in President Biden. I know he's going to do a very good job. And this is not somebody who rush into decision. I think it since President Obama, Mr. Biden did even advise President Obama to withdraw back in there. Now that he have a chance to do it, and to all of us, none of us knew that the situation would turn this way. Although there was some intelligence, but nobody could really know that it's going to be this quick, and to predict that the president won't will leave flee his country without a fight, putting on a fight after all this money pouring in his hands. I mean, just quit his job, quit his responsibility. I want that man to be back into the conversation. I want us to talk about him.
That's what you call an example of profile in cowardice. And that person should be a poster person for that. And you're right. All these guys, they end up taking money. And it's a simple formula. You go, you have your issues, you flee, you take the money, and then you go live somewhere in Europe and some resort. It's a tired game, one in which I despise, and I look forward to holding the former Afghanistan accountable, as well as those of his advisors. They should be held accountable, and I'm calling upon the International Criminal Court and other entities to see what happened to that money and hold those people accountable, because you have people who are suffering who can't get on planes or give reports to United Arab Emirates. The former leaders of Afghanistan must all be held accountable, and I'm calling upon the International Court and other entities to see that case is indeed seen through its course of action. The normal legal processes take place. This is ridiculous. It's unfortunate and, frankly, embarrassing.
Absolutely embarrassing, and for all of these, people, especially on the conservative part, those who believe that this is an easy task. If you believe so, why is that your man Trump didn't do it? And come to find out, is the one who made that peace agreement with the Taliban. Is the one who did it. Joe Biden just came and trying to continue the work that he started. So just get down
a footnote. Forget about him. Let's go forward. I support you, Malik, and I support what you're saying. But Donald Trump is irrelevant, and as are other real despots and wannabe despots. Joe Biden and his team will do their best. No one wants to see a loss of human life. But as you know, Malik, and with decisions come consequences. There was going to be a loss of life regardless. And the Taliban was they were just waiting outside the gates when to move. So Joe Biden, we'll see what happens. And I just hope that that people aren't fired as a result of this unfortunate unraveling of circumstances.
Absolutely. So we will be right back. Changes gear, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the FDA, the approval. Well, welcome again. Welcome back again. We're here with a four-time Olympic athlete, Mr. Gustavo Mvala. We happen to be also. You went to Stanford, right?
Yeah, Stanford. I got a degree in political science and a degree in African and Afro-American studies. I thought I took some pre-med classes, but after I took the MCATs, I said, "Whoa, maybe my skill set lay elsewhere." So one of the guys who had always who thought about becoming a doctor, but realized that political science, the science of politics, is really where my strength lies, and an area in which I believe I can make a bit of difference to those people who believe in me as I believe in myself.
That's amazing. That's what I did too. I have my degree in political science as well. So it's always good to be around folks that have likely minded.
Yeah.
Listen, as you already know, and I think this is big. The FDA just approved PFIZER. So for those, this is what 6 months after the safety. After the safety data, the vaccine is still safe and effective. I think at this point, people have to really realize that there's no reason to be scared anymore. When the FDA put a stamp of approval, that means you don't get any safer than that. Okay, so I would just encourage people to step up and do this. We can do this.
That this version of the FDA under the Biden administration, I have as much confidence, but I also realized that there are some other political folks who are trying to politicize the FDA under the previous administration, and that's why I think I feel much more comfortable now that people are in charge. The scientists have returned to the building and are given free rein to provide us with data and accurate information. No one wants anyone to be given a vaccine that's not approved, and I salute the FDA for doing so in a methodical, deliberate manner.
So what does this all mean for all these vaccine denials or hesitance? The hesitancies, do you think it's going to be helping for more people to come out?
There's nothing you can say to these folks, Malik. You could tell them that 1 + 1 = 5, and they, at some point you have to just have a cohort of people that you believe in, have a cohort of people that understand that the ones that are actually being hospitalized are people who are unvaccinated. It doesn't take a Rhodes Scholar, it doesn't take a Stanford graduate, it doesn't take a television host to realize that there's a correlation between people who are in particularly in southeast part of the U.S. who end up in the hospitals because they weren't vaccinated. And if you're a vaccine denier, I mean, I don't know how much more proof you need a year and a half into this. So I'm encouraging, as I have with my daughters, my loved ones, the significant people in my life who I love, to please social distance, get the boosters down the road if necessary, do all that you can to protect you from this menace of a pandemic that doesn't care if you're black, white, rich, poor, Republican, Democrat, African, Indian. This thing just wants to find a host. So please, the vaccine deniers have their own agenda. They're out there. It's almost diabolical, but thank goodness that we have freedom of speech. So any person can say anything they want in the town square, naked with a bugle. They can do whatever they want. But let's listen to the science, listen to those people who are experts. And Dr. Fauci, for example, he's been doing stuff since the days of AIDS. And so I'm optimistic that I think that we're probably going to be living with this for a while, Malik, because of all these different variants. But the FDA went a proper step by giving it official approval. And I hope that the people at Pfizer will continue to know that other parts of the world are also in need of this, and that it's up to the United States to make sure that our folks are taken care of here, but that there are other parts of the world that are desperately in need of assistance.
So what does this mean for the booster? I mean, for the booster shot.
Yeah.
I know those people already have the shot. Do not care about having a booster shot.
Yeah.
But my word is here is that instead of focusing on the people that already get something, it would be maybe smart for us to think about focusing. And then when I say focusing, I do think about trying to do the best we can to have a better communication to this misinformation that goes on online and as everywhere. Misinformation about the vaccine. We spoke about I mean, last time we were talking about the theories, the conspiracy theories.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Out there that completely put people off track. No. And when you said diabolic, I believe you. That is nonsense. When the science is already said this is it, and people just come with empty words and scare people. I was just one of the conservative TV. I see a young lady coming with some kind of medal put on the arm and showing that once you're vaccinated, you can put any medal on you, it will stick there. I wish one of this day you can come on the show, or using your muscles, your athletic muscles, and show us if this is in fact reality, because we can trust those Trump voters.
Yeah.
Usually they're the one. Most of them are the one actually telling people, what, this is the government conspiracy to kill all Americans.
I think it's important to make too, not to always just narrowly tailor down to Trump voters. I just think people who are ill-informed to always label things with Trump, I think might be giving this guy.
Look at the statistics.
Oh no, it's just you're right, but I'm saying that there are a whole lot of ignorant people who may or may not follow Donald Trump. But you're right, though. Anyone who says that January 6th didn't take place was on Mars on that day or on drugs. That took place, and it's unfortunate that the members of Congress who are using that as political advantageousness for themselves, that they're using it as a wedge. All I can do is, people, believe your eyes, read what you believe, and avoid the echo chamber. It's okay to go to other different stations, Fox News or Newsmax. You have to know what other people are thinking so that it doesn't seem so foreign. But it's up to us as individuals to educate ourselves, and more importantly, to protect ourselves, protect our country, and hopefully protect the world. So to whoever, people can say anything they want, and just like people will probably be critical of the positive viewpoints that we try to espouse here, you're not going to please everyone, but all you can know is that every day you've tried to move the needle towards honesty and truth and facts, as opposed to the opposite.
Absolutely. As you know, this is a global pandemic, and we always have to make sure we think about the world in a global way, international way. So Ned, I'm so glad, because this is really a game changer, man. When the FDA put its approval on this, and this, I mean, it gives a lot of hope that a lot of these institutions, schools, universities, I hope, I don't know about you, I hope those institutions now will be much comfortable to make this vaccination mandate. What you think about that?
Yeah, I think I think anytime people hear the term mandate, they get a little freaked out. But I think we have to have some pretty strict guidelines as to who can go to school, who can't, what conditions have to be met and not. I think there's so much uncertainty. And remember, people have been in hibernation for the last year and a half, 2 years. So to go back into a school environment, that itself is a bit of a tricky situation. Then to deal with these different variants. So I hope that I believe the administrators, the teachers, the school boards, the politicians are doing everything they can to ensure success. But personally, I'm not quite sure how long the school year will go before there's some type of other incident. I don't want that to happen, but I'm just looking at how the cycle of this virus, this pandemic, seems to hit. And we haven't gotten to the winter months yet. So I want everyone to go back to normal, but I'm not sure what normal is. And I think that the days of going in the office from 9 to 5 and commuting back and forth I think those days are gone forever, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. I myself, to be honest with you, before all of this pandemic, this crisis started, I was against that word. It was a dirty word for me, mandate, because remember on the last show where I was telling you we should never oblige somebody to put something in his body unless he knows what he's getting into.
Exactly.
But I'm in a much comfortable place right now because I have faith and I believe and I trust the FDA. And when they put a stamp, because not all the vaccination and companies have the approval. You have to keep that in mind.
Yep.
So if Pfizer have the approval from the FDA, for me, that is a game changer for me. And of course, when we say mandate, I'm not saying that if you don't do it, you go to jail or you got to lose your job. But it's just to say that in order for us to cut on the suspicion, because if we not actually we're not doing this properly, we will still live in a society where there's a lot of suspicion. You see somebody walking around. If the person is not vaccinated, you'll be scared. You'll be, the social distancing will be, we're going to continue to live in that. But if everybody is not aware that we all vaccinated, I think we'll go quicker back to what I don't know, the normalcy. I don't know if
you have what they call the vaccine hesitancy. I think with all this uncertainty, you may have social interaction hesitancy, and so I want everyone to be safe. I want everyone to believe the science, and I applaud Pfizer and the FDA for moving quickly and swiftly and doing so not in a way to compromise the efficacy of the vaccine, but to also introduce it into the public domain as a way to kind of get our way out of this seemingly abyss of COVID-19 now, which would probably be COVID-21.
Yeah, and the quicker we do it, is maybe we can have a clear data, or maybe starting thinking about places like Haiti or some places in Africa. But when the entire population last time, the numbers that we have last time, that was actually half of the population, half of the United States population, and that is huge. That is that's a lot.
That's
so
tremendous.
if we now have more data to support the fact that yes, after 6 months, of course, the vaccination is safe, I think we should encourage people who still have these doubts. Well, my friend, listen, we're gonna change the last gear. That will be talking about sport. You a sport man. I can never have this conversation without talking about with what's going on in the sport world. That will be in the next second. Well. Now I left this last portion on purpose because I know you're the man of you understand Olympics, the Olympics games. You understand sports more than anybody in the house, in the GAN TV house here. So you are the expert. When your girl couldn't compete for the Olympics, there were a lot of sympathy. And you came on the show, you defending her, you open your door to any kind of support. 9 weeks later, her performance without, the weed. I'm just saying that. I don't know if that was.
I understand.
Her performance without the weed is kind of disappointed. Your take on that?
Well, I've actually competed at the Prefontaine Classic. It is a premier meet that's held at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon. Tom Jordan has been the longtime promoter, and Nike has done its best to always recruit the top athletes. It's no joke, and you can't come in there as a halftime sprinter. And so all I can say is look at someone's performance 4 or 5 weeks earlier. Look at this performance now, and there can be some reasonable conclusions addressed, and you maybe want to look at someone's physical body type. All I can say is that all of us are human. We have frailties. We make mistakes. Some people succumb to pressure. Some people succumb to temptations. But in the end, we all have to live by our actions and our inactions. And I hope the best for Ms. Richardson, whatever the next chapters of her life may be, and those around her. Oftentimes, athletes are used and abused and taken care of and discarded. I hope that this is not the case with Ms. Richardson, who seems like a decent enough woman. I'm just not sure if those around her may be giving her the best advice.
Oh man, listen. To be honest, I'm no world athlete like you. You've been there in that level. The frustration, the pressure, the level of training. You understand that better. But
Yes.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, and don't take my word for it. This is the area. This is not like politics where I will be like, I hold on all my position. I don't know much about, about sport. I played basketball in high school, but I never made it to the professional level. I just want to know though, what possibly could happen to Miss Richardson, for her to really, because if you look at this race, the Nike race,
Prefontaine Classic.
Yeah, when you first of all you see, you see all the Tokyo, the Tokyo podium supremacy,
and that's what they do.
The Olympian.
That's what they do.
They just can't.
After these meets, what happens? There's usually about 4 to 5 meets around the world where the people who medaled are placed very high in the Olympics, and those who didn't are then given a shot to come back and earn some money and showcase their talents. You can make a lot of money.
Watch this. Look how your girls is lagging behind. Yeah. That is and these three girls, Thompson, Fraser, Jackson, Tiana. They were awesome. They just came and confirmed their supremacy, man. And especially the Tokyo gold winner, that Thompson lady, from Jamaica, just proven to be the fastest the fastest woman alive, and from Tokyo, 100, 200, and 400. That is amazing. But to come back to your girl, Shakira, I think, like she said, I think she made a comment herself. She was talking about the fact that this is just one race, and she will definitely come back. We hope, and I definitely hope she will come back strong. She went through a lot, and and when you compete with those world athletes, and people who just won the gold medals, it's not an easy task to do. But I believe in her. I believe she will bounce back.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think also too, who knows what kind of training she was doing, and who knows what other aspects were going. But it's kind of funny. You look at Shaqiri and you see what happened to Simone Biles, and you see what happened to some of the other athletes. There seems to be a pattern somewhere along the line. I'm not quite sure what to account for it, but there seems to be a pattern of not being able to rise to the occasion, or in this case, finish.
I'm not sure if you were able to listen to the interview she gave to the news outlet. It seems to me that there's still some work to be done, psychologically speaking.
Exactly. I do. I know Lewis Johnson, the guy from NBC. He's been doing this for a number of years, and I've known he's a great guy. We walk in the same circles. We know the same people. I think this woman's in over her head, and I think that when you have to start making excuses and blaming others, there's something else going on there. So I hope that whatever help she needs, she gets it. I hope she can. That track and field, which was so good to me, will be as equally good to her. And I hope that she continues to test without any traces of any kind of drugs in her body, weed or otherwise.
Absolutely. Listen, any anything from back home? Because you know your eyes are and ears or in Bata, you know, every day.
Yeah,
And
Bata
you
Malabo
know,
and Libreville. All I can say in short is that it seems as if the folks who are at one time called themselves government officials are now in hiding. They've dropped off the radar screen, and you wonder when people are hiding what they're hiding from, or what they are hiding. And so we call them all out. Hey guys, it's okay to come out in public. We can dialogue. There's no worries here. We're all friends here. We're all friends. The Federation for Democracy and Justice in Equatorial Guinea welcomes dialogue with any and all people seeking to improve the health, education, and welfare of Equatorial Guinea. And we look forward to meeting and coming to you to a theater near you.
absolutely. But let me ask you this: you being the president of that organization that you just talked about,
Yes.
do you have a chance to talk with the local people? You know, I'm sure you do. You know, you're constantly in touch with them on the people on the ground.
Yeah.
So
And what they're saying
what
right
kind
now
of
is,
feedback they're giving you?
well, first of all, thank you for the question. I have a whole network. Thank goodness for social media, Malik, and it affords the opportunity to meet people, for people to critique you, for people to invite you to dialogue. But it seems to me as if the country is in complete dysfunction, paralysis, and that I'm hoping, for the sake of the country, that Teodoro Obiang gracefully exit the stage and allow a disciplined, focused, humble, and democratically centered entity to come in its place. 53 years of one family rule, his uncle himself, are enough. Let the healing begin. We've been very patient, and we know exactly where Mr. Obiang is. The reality is that he needs to know where he wants to go, because he can't stay in Equatorial Guinea. Not one more day, not one more hour. He and his cronies have to go today.
Absolutely. That was my friend, partner, senior analyst at GAN TV, Gustavo Mbella, my friend. It was good to talk to you again. I look
Always
forward to
pleasure.
speak with you another
Support
time.
my friend. Gang, you got to support people. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Absolutely. Okay, my friend. That will conclude for this show for tonight, and I look forward to speak with you again. You know, the world is plenty of subject matter, and we will always come back here to give our perspective on what's going on around the world. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and keep the prayers for the people of Equatorial Guinea, because as you said, help is on the way.
On the way. Absolutely. Well said. Okay, my friend, you take yourself and say hello to Michelle, and we look forward. I look forward to speak with you probably tomorrow or after tomorrow.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Take care, my friend. All right. So that concludes our show for today. That was our perspective on what's going on in the world. Please tune in every night, to look out for our program, support the show, and text us, send us email, question, comments, and we will be more than glad to give you some answers. That was Talk to Me with Malik and Gustavo Mbella. We will be back probably tomorrow to give you our perspective on what's going on in the world. Bye now.